Yes, people. How's everyone? So Leeds United's a 0-0 draw with Newcastle United. Um, Good team, a very good team. They've been very good for a few years now. Very consistent. And we saw them to a 0-0 draw at Elland Road. What are my thoughts? We'll talk about it. We'll talk about the game. We'll talk about the individuals. How I thought they did. How I thought they fared. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Now, one thing I want to say, and I want to talk about these real quick before I get into the ratings, is a great comment on one of the last videos, and I'm going to talk about the comments at the end of the video because I need to say something. But big up who sent it. I honestly can't remember. My bad. But they asked about how I do these ratings. So this is something I used to do at uni when I was an analyst. So I used to. It's hard to always remember how a player played in a game. So what I'd do is I'd give a rating initially after the game, and then a day later when I've rewatched it, I'd give another rating. And the rating is based on how well that player's done in terms of have they done what the manager's required? Have they performed their role to the best ability? And then there's the fundamentals that every coach has different ones, the non-negotiables, the hard work, all this stuff. And I put all that together and I create a number. This is simplified as it only works in 0.5s and full numbers. So I've kind of gone off that. That's how I do it for anyone asks. So obviously it's different. I've not watched the game back. I've just watched the game. I've took notes and I thought about it as I was doing through it. So that's how I do it. Yeah, it's a technique I use. But Joe Rodon and Pascal Struijk, and again, these two are a key example of something that is really important for me for any newly promoted team. So this was when Struijk wasn't injured, this was the partnership in the championship, right? This was it. To see that championship partnership step up to the Premier League it makes me so happy. It makes me feel good because not only in the Premier League are you naturally relying on players that you bring in from, players that played at a high level. That's one thing, right? But to see two players that played in the championship not only come up but perform every week at a very decent level is something that's really refreshing to me, because you have a player on the bench in Biol who was probably told you will be the starter. But Struijk, when he got the opportunity with Biol's card, has took it and he's played really well, and he's not put himself in a position where the manager can drop him necessarily. So yeah, you love to see it. You do love to see it. And again, in the cup midweek, the centre backs that came in did not shower themselves in glory, did they? So big up to these two. They've come into the Premier League. They look good. They look settled, which is important. They look relatively comfortable. Look, there is times in the game where Struijk was a little aggressive early on, and there was times where Rodon dove in once or twice. But this is not a bad thing. This is not something you cannot expect. This is something to expect when you're playing against top teams. They've had different ranges of challenges with different strikers so far this season, and even against Arsenal, can't say it was their fault. They were under constant pressure for 90 minutes. We could look at the marking and stuff, but that's instruction, isn't it? So for me, I'm just so impressed seeing these two step up to that level. And I've given both a similar rating because I think Struijk, because we kind of use that side more, it's quite easy to say he's had a better game. I think Rodon quietly goes about his game. I think Rodon still is driving with the ball. I think his decision making on the ball and his passing is underrated. I do. He did so many good passes where he actually missed the fullback out and went straight to the winger yesterday, which went underappreciated. And in terms of their strikers and who they're dealing with, they're not diving in all the time. It happens, of course, but they still look secure. They still look sensible. So very happy with these two this season and in this game. So I give them a very solid 7.5 for me. Fullbacks, a lot better than last game. And for me, I'll talk about Gabriel Goodmanson because I got a lot of stick on the first video about his performance, and that's fair enough. Again, it's just what I expect. Farke was screaming at these two a lot of the game. I was watching him every time. He was at them. He was at them. And I think there was a slight hesitation, Goodmanson, to really attack the box. in that game. And you could see when he did it, he kind of had no choice because Metcha was facing that way and was looking at him going, this is on you. You need to get out there. He gave him the ball and he put a great ball into the box. Great ball into the box and we're inches off it. When he's driving with it and when he's got space in front of him, which is the key, he looks very dangerous. He looks like he can impact. And we saw more of that in the game yesterday. He's adapting to the league. There will be games where he looks out of it. There will be games where he looks outstanding. I think that's the type of player he is. At Lille for the last few years, it was kind of in and out with Bakker, the other fullback, very experienced fullback. So maybe that's something he needs to work on now, is being the main man. You know, because he wasn't always settled as the main man at his previous club. Although when he played, he always looked pretty good to me, apart from him against Liverpool. I was very impressed with him yesterday for the most part. There's a few times defensively again where he just gets a little bit sucked in. But you work on that. You figure out why that happened. And then you can build on it, Kaya. Jayden Bogle, likewise, I think he started the game slow for me. Like a few did. But massively. Do you know what Bogle is? He's a settler. Is Bogle. You could see it when he came to the club. He didn't look settled. You know what I mean? He didn't look comfortable. You could probably say that about some of the games this season at the start. Not quite comfortable. But once he settles, he just looks like he belongs. He settles. His foundations are deep then. Do you know what I mean? Now he looks really comfortable at the club. And he looks really comfortable playing in front of the Elland Road crowd and away. He's that type of player for me. He thrives off that. He likes an atmosphere. It makes him play well. He's a player that plays with so much joy and freedom. And he's by far our best 1v1 player at the club, in my opinion. He's so direct and dangerous every time he attacks, even at this level. And defensively, against a good player, Liverpool, a top fullback. Don't forget that. And he did a decent job. And he had to. He had to play well. So I give him. I slightly edged it just because I thought he plays with a lot of freedom. The midfield. It's good to have a solid midfield back after the Arsenal game. And also, I didn't do the Arsenal video because there was so much going on, like transfer wise and work midweek. It's difficult. So yeah, I just missed that one out. Not because we lost. I'll be doing this when we lose. Don't worry. But in that one, I was just too busy those few days. And then by the time you're ready, there's transfers to talk about and all that stuff. So need to clarify that. Midfield, going into the game, even if they had Joe Linton missing, that doesn't matter for me. You're still playing. You know, Jacob Ramsey is still a top player, played for England. You know, and then you've got obviously Tonali in there as well. So I mean, with Guimaraes, obviously, that's a ridiculously good midfield three. Our midfield three, however, matched it. What I will say, again, a lot of praise for Gruev, and rightfully so. Rightfully so, because what Gruev did yesterday, or whenever you're watching this, against Newcastle, again, like Bogle, I think he struggled at the start with the tempo, I do. I think what he tried to do, Gruev, when he gets the ball, he likes that option to be there, right? Some players are good at creating an option, but Gruev needs to rely on that pass to be there. He's not someone that's going to take his man on, right? He's not someone that's going to beat a man with quick feet, drop the shoulder. So when he gets the ball, he needs the option to be there. That's how you work with Gruev. You've got to give him the space, and he probably will find you 9 times out of 10, right? That's the key thing. That's what he's very good at. If it's there, he'll find you. And that's what he did. Earlier on, it was hard because they were pressing. We didn't quite figure out how we could beat that, where our patterns were. And his passes were a little bit kind of quick, rushed, give it to the guy 2 yards next to me, kind of thing. But what he did when he settled into the game, which he did really well, probably after the first kind of 20, 25 minutes, was we as a team understood the patterns. We found the spaces. We managed to find the wingers, the attackers. And that helped Gruev massively. And what Gruev did then, every time he got the ball, he was able to quickly decide where the pass went, whether that was sideways, whether that was forward, wherever it was, he looked more comfortable. And he adapted and grew into the game. So I was really impressed by that. It's good to see, again, a player who, let's be honest, most people probably say isn't at the level, adapting to the game within the game and kind of settling into it and then realizing I can do this. You know, with a little help from my teammates that actually give me an option, I can settle into this. I can be a player for Leeds in the Premier League. I can help them out if needed. I can do my role. I can do my job. And that's something as a coach that you want to see your players do. Farke wasn't expect Gruev to be ultra press resistant and take a man on and beat. That's not what he is, which is why you need to help him when he's on the ball and give him the option. Even if it's a difficult option, if that's the option, you'll try to find it. And the execution is relatively very accurate most of the time. Although he doesn't have a crazy pass range. Again, not his role, not what we do as a team, not needed. So yeah, very happy with how he grew into the game. And Longstaff as well. I mean, one of them games where you kind of need to play well, don't you? Against your ex-club. Kind of have to. But that don't take away from it. He was outstanding, wasn't he? In fact, that adds to it. I love that we've got a player that is like, yeah, I'm not part of them anymore. I want Leeds. I love it. I just loved it. But it was good to see Shaw Longstaff play that game, and you can tell he knows the players. This is it, man. Whenever I used to play against my mates, I swear they were not playing better than me. I knew their game. They knew mine. But I always made sure I won that battle. Always. Something I took pride in. So, yeah, that's what it's like for me. And that's what it was like with Longstaff. You can tell, Guimaraes, outstanding football player. But whenever Longstaff was on, whenever it was Gruev, whoever, we dealt with it relatively, for his standards, he wasn't that effective. But Longstaff is a big part of that. He knows this team. He knows what they do. It's little things. He knows how they move. He knows like little tricks they'll try, their movement patterns. You learn this stuff because you're doing it every single day for years and years and years at training. Of course, it massively helps, So, yeah, Longstaff was outstanding yesterday. Even on the ball, I've been not critical, but one thing I've been waiting to see from Longstaff is that sharpness. He looked sharp. I think the last 10 minutes, there's one or two times he got caught on it, and he looked a little tired, but that's to be expected. And when you've got no midfielders on the bench, what do you want us to do? We don't have any. They're both injured, so he had to play and he had to go on with it. In a usual situation, he comes off for them 10 minutes, and we have an option, and then we don't see the sloppy side of it. But again, we didn't have that option, so unfortunately he had to play 90, and he's not played 90 in a long time at this level, obviously. So yeah, he looked class, didn't he? He looked class. So calm on the ball. His IQ is a joke, by the way. This Premier League players, and people tell me, I've seen loads of people say it this summer that Premier League experience and all that stuff isn't really important or whatever. It is. Because Longstaff, let's be honest, he's not been great this season. He's not had a big opportunity to do so. But, in what we've seen of him, he's not looked like the player that he can be. He got the opportunity, and he got the call from the manager in this game saying, "You're my man." He didn't need an adjustment period. He didn't need time to settle into the game because he's played at this level. He knows it. He's done it for years and years. Which helped us massively. Because when you have players that are not a little bit shaky at the start, and you have a guy in Longstaff who's just calm, he knows what's going on. He was demanding. I was watching him. He was shouting. He was telling players what to do. He knows what he's doing. He's done it. Don't take any credit away from that. So yeah, quality. And Anton Stark, I spoke about him a lot recently, so we won't speak too much about him. Absolute workhorse in there. Worked his backside off. Worked so well with Longstaff again. Having a player around him who he knows he can rely on. Different to Tanaka, obviously. Longstaff has played at this level nearly 200 times. That is massive for any player. It would have helped him along. It would have guided. It would have told him where to go, what to do, all that stuff. So yeah, Anton Stark was quality again. Yeah, big shout out to midfielders there. There we go. And I know people that have been here by now, you can say I'm harsh in the comments. Don't care. I expect more. We need more. We need better from our wingers. Now, and I'll give him credit every week. For me, Nonto, he's so close, playing really well. But the bit he's not doing is probably the most important thing that we need. So, he's busy. He doesn't hide, which is a big thing for me. He doesn't hide from responsibility. He's always asking for the ball. He's always making runs to want the ball. He wants to do things. He wants to create. Love that. Defensively, he's looking really solid. He's helping out excellent. He's getting back really quick. His aggression's excellent. You know, he's getting in good positions, but he's not quite doing the extra 2 or 3% to give himself that little bit of space to take that shot. So he cuts in, right? Fine, good. Cuts in, hits the defender, hits the defender. We're seeing that a lot. It's just them little margins where these top wingers, which Nonto will obviously want to be in the future, where these top wingers, when there's a defender in front of him, they find a way around it, whether that's kicking it through their legs to score, going round him, using the blind side of the keeper, you know, doing a little pass in that moment. It's that little bit in the final third where it's breaking down. He's getting there. He's getting us in the position. He did some excellent things yesterday where he cut inside and he played it out to the other side. I like that. That's good. But again, it's a threat around the box. It's when we're attacking the box, more counter, more transitional, or when we win the ball high up. That's where the decision making from all our attackers or our wingers is not there yet, or the connection between the midfield is not there yet. And I think it's really important that we get that. I think it's vital that we get that because we look good as a team. We look like a solid team. But you don't say in the Premier League about being a solid team. You need spark. We don't have it. Like I said, I've liked how he's played. I think it'd be good. I actually want to see Nonto on the right, I'll be honest. I just think he's better down that side because he's more direct down that side. And I think we need him to be more direct. We need him to attack forward space, not always come inside. And he likes to come inside 9 times out of 10. So, yeah. But I like how Nonto's doing this season. I like everything he's doing, apart from the decision-making in the final third, which is very poor. But it's very poor from all of our attacking players. It's not just him. We need quality. And on the other side, you've got that James. Again, he's dangerous because of how quick he is. He's direct. It's just the quality missing. Really beating a fullback, really getting to the box and finding that pass, or really getting to the box and having a shot through the defenders, round the defenders, working the goalkeeper. We've not done it. We've had any shots on target this season. And we're getting so many good areas where there should be a shot on target, but it ends up a bad pass or a bad decision. There's one time in the game yesterday where Nonto, on that right with Gruev's little 1-2, beats his man, great ball into the box, inches off Metra's foot. That's what I think he can do down that side in transition. But yeah, that's the wingers. Lucas Metra, again, in my opinion, I've said this all summer, the most underrated player. Underrated. He's so important to what we are, and this is where recruitment is important to not just look at G&A. This is where it's important to look at the player, analyse the player. How will that player fit the system? But how will that player fit the Premier League? But also, how will that player fit the Premier League in a team that is going to be a certain way? We're not going to always play out. We're going to have to go direct. And how many times, by the way, did we go direct? Must be more than 20. How many times did we actually win something from that? Whether that was over the top or into Metra, it's so important that you have an outlet at this league. We're not in a position, we're not good enough, right? Let's be honest. At this point right now, early on in the season, we're not good enough to play out from the back and hit, like, consistently play out from the back and hit the striker, find the striker, create chances. We're not. Newcastle and Arsenal have ridiculously good presses. Do you see Newcastle's press versus Liverpool? Liverpool played out endlessly. That's why it worked. We didn't. We went long. We had the option in this game, and it's so helpful. We played in the right area of the pitch. We didn't try and just be this naive team who just plays out. We'll keep going. No. If the option is there to do it, and it's not working, playing out, do it. I think playing out, what we did, we found the wingers quite well at times, but it's so hard and it's so risky. To have that outlet is so important. And look, people are saying he didn't win every duel. Of course he didn't win every duel. He's up against Sven Botman. He's a top player. But Sven Botman went off that pitch before Metra. Sven Botman knew he was in a game. Sven Botman had to play really well. He had to. They both played well. It was one of them games they both did quite well. Botman dealt with him at times really well, but Mecha dealt with Botman at times really well. It was a good duel. It's a good old school battle. I love that. I genuinely love that. He's so important, or a player like him is so important in a team that needs the outlet. It's key. You need more options. So yeah, big up Lucas Mecha. I always do, because I just think he's underappreciated. He's not a goal scorer. I've said this. He's not going to do that. He will if he gets a chance, obviously, but we know what he's playing. We know what his role is. That's starting 11. Very quickly on the subs. Behind my head, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, DCL. Again, came on. Showed why he's a Premier League player. There's a big difference. Same for Jack Harrison, whether you like it or not. Jack Harrison doesn't have the flair of certain players. He doesn't have the 1v1 skill. This is why we need to bring in a winger who has that at this level, who can compete at this level. But Harrison brings the understanding of the league as well. You could see when he got the ball, his communication, his connection with Calvert-Lewin was very good. Always looking quickly and early. Where's the striker? Where can I create 1-2s? Where can I create space? And like basic, having a left-footed player, it's a different threat. He's our only left-footed winger. It's a completely different threat. Now they have something different to think about, because now he can whip one in. Now he can hit a cross. Now he can play an early cross to Calvert-Lewin, which he did. What I will say at Calvert-Lewin, when he's fit, we are ready. He's gonna be ready. Give him service, we'll be all right. But we need players to give him service consistently. Aronson, yeah, he did run, but in this game, I feel like he didn't really affect it that well, if I'm being honest. They'd obviously brought in Harvey Barnes down that side, and I just feel like Aronson was a bit reactionary in his running. He wasn't very proactive. He wasn't very sure of when do I go, when do I track, when do I follow. Didn't quite work out in this one. Again, this is where we need to bring in these players who can up that level, right? And James Justin didn't play much. Good to see his debut. Good to see him getting minutes in the tank. But that's it, people. Let me know what you guys think. I just want to say on the comments as well, I'd say at the end, I've just been so busy. I upload a video, then I don't really look at it after that because I've just been busy. I will try with this video, I promise. It's just, you have to, when it's like 70, 80 comments, and I like to reply to them all, or acknowledge them all, it does take over an hour. Is the way I like to write comments. So I don't just want to put like a thumbs up. But I'll try, alright? I apologise. So busy, people, with work, which is a good thing. Yeah, I don't know how long this will last, to be honest. But yeah, while we're here, we'll keep doing videos. We'll keep, doing what we do. But yeah, see you guys in a bit. Thank you for all the support. You're all absolute legends as usual. See you guys in a bit. Bye-bye.